Hi everyone, let's take a look at fraction operations here, and more specifically I want to take a look at addition and subtraction involving fractions, okay? So, let's take a look here at this first one. We have 1/2 minus 3/5. Okay, so you may be tempted to just go ahead and subtract straight across the numerators and the denominators, subtract 3 from 1 and 5 from 2, but unfortunately we're not able to do that when it comes to addition and subtraction and fractions. We have to first start by finding something called a least common denominator. And what this is, and I guess in order to find this least common denominator, or at least find what it should be, for this first one, I'm going to start by listing off all the multiples of each of our denominators, okay? So our denominators are 2 and 5, so let's list the multiples of 2. Okay, so here, if we have 2 times 1 is 2, times 2 is 4, times 3 is 6, times 4 is 8, times 5 is 10, then we have 12, 14, so on, right? And then if we have multiples of 5, we're going to get 5, 10, 15, so on, right? We already see it when we have in common. The smallest number these two have in common is going to be 10. So we know that our least common denominator is going to be 10. But in fact, we actually have a slightly faster way of finding a least common denominator. We are able to do something called cross multiplication. Okay, and what this is we are able to multiply the number on the right side of our operation here. We are able to multiply this by the denominator on the left-hand side over itself. Okay, so and we're able to multiply the number on the left-hand side here by the denominator of 3/5 over itself. Okay, so what I mean by this specifically is we can rewrite this as 5 over 5 times 1/2 minus 3/5 times 2 over 2. And you may be asking, why are we able to do this without changing the value of our expression here? Well, really, it's important to note here that 5 over 5 is equal to 1, as is 2 over 2. So 2 over 2 and 5 over 5 are both equal to 1. So what we're really doing is we're multiplying each of these by 1, which is just multiplying it by something that doesn't change its value, so that nothing really happens in terms of the overall value of our expression here. Okay, but we are able to write it in a way that gives us the least common denominator by doing this. So let's go ahead and finish this expression. So in order to simplify this, we can just multiply straight across numerators and denominators. So 5 times 1 is 5, and then 5 times 2 is 10. And then we have 3 times 2 is 6, and 5 times 2 is 10. So minus 6 over 10. So we have 5 over 10 minus 6 over 10. This is the same thing as 5 minus 6 over 10. Or we have negative 1 over 10. And that would be our final answer here. Okay, let's take a look at negative 7 over 9 plus 1 over 3. What's really nice about this problem is that one of the denominators here is a multiple of the other denominator. Okay, in a situation like that, if you want to find the least common denominator, all you have to do is multiply the smaller of the two denominators or you have to multiply the fraction with the smaller of the two denominators by the number that you would multiply that denominator by to get to the other number over itself. So what I mean by this is, let me show exactly what we're doing here. If we have multiples of 3, we're going to have 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, and then 3 times 3 is 9. And you see that is our denominator over here. So if we multiply 3 times 3, we get 9. So we can multiply the right fraction here, 1/3, by 3 over 3. So this is going to give us negative 7 over 9 plus 1/3 times 3 over 3. And that's going to give us negative 7 over 9 plus 3 over 9. Or we can write this as negative 7 plus 3 over 9, which is negative 4 over 9. Okay, now let's take a look at negative 3 over 4 plus 1 over 7. So in this case, since neither denominator is a multiple of the other, we can just go ahead and do our cross multiplication. So we can write this as 7 over 7 times negative 3/4 plus 1 over 7 times 4 over 4. Okay, so if we do 7 times negative 3, we're going to get negative 21 over 7 times 4 is going to give us 28. Okay, and then we have 1 times 4 is 4, and then we have 7 times 4 is 28. So we're going to end up with negative 21 over 28 plus 4 over 28, or we have negative 21 plus 4 over 28, or we're going to end up with negative 17 over 28. I don't think we could simplify that any further, so our final answer is going to be negative 17 over 28.